Assalamu alaikum everyone. Today's discussion topic is important multiple choice questions of behavioristic and innate theories of language learning. So let's get started. Who is the proponent of behavioristic theory of language learning? Bloomfield, Edward Sapir, B.F. Skinner, none of these. Right option is C. B.F. Skinner is the proponent of behavioristic theory of language learning. The mind of a child is like a clean slate, according to behaviorist, empiricist, innate, Europeans. Right option is A. According to behaviorist, the mind of a child is like a clean slate. According to behaviorist, what is strengthened by reinforcement? Listening, memorizing, cramming, habits. Right option is D. According to behaviorist, habits are strengthened by reinforcement. Which theory is basically a psychological theory of language learning? Innate, behaviorist, ordolingual, none of these. Right option is B. Behaviorist theory is basically a psychological theory of language learning. Which linguist presented the model for the behaviorist theory? Aristotle, Thorndike, Skinner, Bloomfield. Right option is C. Skinner presented the model for the behaviorist theory. The behaviorist stressed that human and animal learning is a process of memorization, habit formation, cramming, none of these. Right option is B. The behaviorist stressed that human and animal learning is a process of habit formation. The behaviorists are of the view that language learning is a stimulus response process, thought process, announcement process, reward process. Right option is A. The behaviorists are of the view that language learning is a stimulus response process. Who founded the behaviorist theory? Skinner, Bloomfield, Chomsky, J.B. Watson. Right option is D. J.B. Watson found the behaviorist theory. J.B. Watson was an American psychologist and linguist. Where was the theory of behaviorism advanced? In England, in Italy, in America, in India. Right option is C. The theory of behaviorism advanced in America. Behaviorism was advanced in reaction to the grammar translation method. The behaviorism lays importance on written in learning language, controlled in learning language, uncontrolled in learning language, verbal in learning language. Right option is D. The behaviorist lays importance on verbal in learning language. When was the behaviorism introduced? In early decades of 20th century, later decades of 19th century, later decades of 20th century, not known. Right option is A. The behaviorism introduced in early decades of 20th century. The process by which children learn their mother tongue is called language beginning, language presentation, language acquisition, none of these. Right option is C. The process by which children learn their mother tongue is called language acquisition. Who say that all knowledge is derived from experience? The empiricists, the Europeans, the innates, none of these. Right option is A. The empiricists say that all knowledge is derived from experience. Empiricists believe that children learn language through experience. According to empiricists, children learn the syntax by using only specially adopted techniques, general learning capacities, special learning skills, none of these. Right option is B. According to empiricists, children learn the syntax by using only general learning capacities. According to behaviorists, what is extremely important in learning anything? Notion of yelling, notion of cramming, notion of experience, notion of repetition. Right option is D. According to behaviorists, notion of repetition is extremely important in learning anything. Why are the variations in language learning caused? Difference in learning attitude and experience, age and memory, motivation, all of these. Right option is D. All of these are the variations in language learning caused, through which process the child learns finer and finer speech approximately to the community. Trial and error process, natural process, operant conditioning, none of these. Right option is A. Through trial and error process, the child learns finer and finer speech approximately to the community. Who presented the most influential version of behaviorist theory? B.F. Skinner, Bloomfield, Edward Sapir, none of these. Right option is A. B.F. Skinner presented the most influential version of behaviorist theory. B.F. Skinner presented the most influential version of behaviorist theory in 1954, 1955, 1959, 1965. Right option is C. B.F. Skinner presented the most influential version of behaviorist theory in 1959. What do we call to B.F. Skinner's version of behaviorism? Old behaviorism, modern behaviorism, critical behaviorism, radical behaviorism. Right option is D. B.F. Skinner's version of behaviorism is radical behaviorism. He tried to give behaviorism an ethical grounding regarding pragmatism. A more comprehensive view of conditioning was developed by Skinner named simple conditioning, stimulus conditioning, operant conditioning, none of these. Right option is C. A more comprehensive view of conditioning was developed by Skinner named operant conditioning. Operant conditioning is also known as instrumental conditioning. According to Skinner, what is the establishment of set of habits? All learning, all errors, all educational process, none of these. Right option is A. According to Skinner, all learning is the establishment of set of habits. A reinforcer is a stimulus that increases the quality, frequency, delivery, none of these. Right option is B. A reinforcer is a stimulus that increases the frequency of the response it follows. Which of the following is the discouragement of an undesired response by an unpleasant stimulus? Every reinforcement, no reinforcement, positive reinforcement, negative reinforcement. Right option is D. Negative reinforcement is the discouragement of an undesired response by an unpleasant stimulus. A positive reinforcement is the encouragement, the discouragement, the remarks, none of these. Right option is A. A positive reinforcement is the encouragement of a desired response by a pleasant stimulus. Punishment is used to encourage desirable, to reinforce desirable, to erase undesirable, none of these. Right option is C. Punishment is used to erase undesirable behaviors by presenting a distressing stimulus when the behavior occurs. The behaviorist theory overemphasizes the role of imitation and ignores the dislikes, habits, growth, creativity. Right option is D. The behaviorist theory overemphasizes the role of imitation and ignores the creativity of the children. Who presented the ABC model of learning? Skinner, Dennett, Bloomfield, Hume. Right option is B. Dennett presented the ABC model of learning. Who gave the concept of association? David Hume, B.F. Skinner, Bloomfield, none of these. Right option is A. David Hume gave the concept of association. What is ABC model by Dennett? Alteration, behaviorism, connectionism, association-based conservatism, association, behaviorism, connectionism. Answer between course. Right option is C. Association, behaviorism, connectionism. Which theory of language learning ignores the inborn aspect of human knowledge? Innate theory, grammar translation theory, empiricist theory, none of these. Right option is B. Grammar translation theory ignores the inborn aspect of human knowledge. Who goes against ABC model by Dennett? Bloomfield, Edward Sapir, Skinner, Chomsky. Right option is D. Chomsky goes against ABC model by Dennett. Nelson says that language learning is a theoretical process, regional process, mechanical process, demanding process. Right option is C. Nelson says that language learning is a mechanical process. Babies acquire native language, second language, foreign or third language, early syntax. Right option is A. Babies acquire native language habits via varied babblings which resemble the actual word sound. Babbling and mutterings grow into socialized speech by the age of 3 or 4, 5 or 6, 7 or 8, 8 or 9. Right option is B. Babblings and mutterings grow into socialized speech by the age of 5 or 6. Who first described the classical conditioning? Ivan Pavlov, Vladimir Dol, Anatoly Moskvin, Vasily Abev. Right option is A. Ivan Pavlov first described the classical conditioning. Why did Pavlov present food with dogs? To examine which food is liked by the dogs, to feed them more and more, to examine their hunger, to examine their salivary response. Right option is D. Pavlov presented food with dogs to examine their salivary response. Rewards are negative reinforcements, positive reinforcements, social reinforcements, none of these. Right option is B. Rewards are positive reinforcements, punishments are negative reinforcements. Who suggests that language is learned through conditioning and from the environment? Empiricists, innates, behaviorists, none of these. Right option is C. Behaviorists suggest that language is learned through conditioning and from the environment. The innate theory of language acquisition was given by Noam Chomsky, Bloomfield, B.S. Skinner, Dennett. Right option is A. The innate theory of language acquisition was given by Noam Chomsky. The innate theory is also known as mentalist theory, nativist theory, rationalist theory, all of these. Right option is D. All of these are innate theory. Innate theory was a reaction against pedagogical theory, grammar translation method, behaviorist theory of language learning, none of these. Right option is C. Innate theory was a reaction against behaviorist theory of language learning. Innate theory was developed in the mid 20th century, 19th century, 1920s, 1910s. Right option is A. Innate theory was developed in the mid of 20th century. Who confirmed the formalization of innate theory? Skinner, Chomsky, Bloomfield, Edward Sapir. Right option is B. Chomsky confirmed the formalization of innate theory. Innate theory was present there from hundreds of years, and which of the following theory contradicted its model at every point of basic structure? Grammar translation method, pedagogical theory, radical theory, behavioristic theory. Right option is D. Innate theory was present there from hundreds of years, and behavioristic theory contradicted its model at every point of basic structure. The innate theory was developed from grammar translation method, behavioristic theory, mentalistic theory, none of these. Right option is C. The innate theory was developed from mentalistic theory. Which theory is radical in many ways than the behavioristic theory? Innate theory, grammar translation method, modern theory, none of these. Right option is A. Innate theory is radical in many ways than the behavioristic theory. Which theory says that language acquisition is innately determined? Behavioristic theory, innate theory, Grammar translation method, none of these. Right option is B. Innate theory says that language acquisition is innately determined. According to innate theory, a child develops language in the same way as other biological functions. The process of the other biological functions, in contrary to other biological functions, none of these. Right option is A. According to innate theory, a child develops language in the same way as other biological functions. Which of the following differences may be associated with some variations in the rate of language acquisition? Age, time, place, environmental. Right option is D. Environmental differences may be associated with some variations in the rate of language acquisition. According to the proponents of innate theory, biological programming enables children to learn the pronunciation, punctuation, complexities, meanings. Right option is C. According to the proponents of innate theory, biological programming enables children to learn the complexities of language in short period of time. According to the proponents of innate theory, children start to speak at roughly the same age and proceed through roughly the different ways, same ways, contrary ways, none of these. Right option is B. According to the proponents of innate theory, children start to speak at roughly the same age and proceed through roughly the same stages. The innate theory suggests that children have the inborn ability to decide, forget, automatically learn, systematically discover. Right option is D. The innate theory suggests that children have the inborn ability to systematically discover for themselves the underlying rules of a language system. Who presented the concept of critical period? Eric Lenberg, B.F. Skinner, Bloomfield, Noam Chomsky. Right option is A. Eric Lenberg presented the concept of critical period. Who described that there is biologically determined period of life during which language can be acquired most easily? Bloomfield, B.F. Skinner, Noam Chomsky, Eric Lenberg. Right option is D. Eric Lenberg described that there is a biologically determined period of life during which language can be acquired most easily. Lenberg says that if this critical period has passed, language learning becomes difficult. During language acquisition, who correct the children systematically at home? Parents, elder siblings, no one, teachers. Right option is C. Children are not systematically corrected by anyone at home during language learning. Who claim that language is innately determined in the existence of an innate universal set of grammar? Noam Chomsky, B.F. Skinner, Edward Sapir, Bloomfield. Right option is A. Noam Chomsky claimed that language is innately determined in the existence of an innate universal set of grammar. However, it is a controversial issue. Many linguists do not believe in the innateness of language. During the language acquisition, children are exposed to an environment where they find confusing information, full information of their mother tongue, friendly environment, none of these. Right option is A. During the language acquisition, children are exposed to an environment where they find confusing information. Which of the following learn to use very complex language structures without instruction? Adults, children, old people, women. Right option is B. Children learn to use very complex language structures without instruction. When children say the words like put it is the result of imitation, teaching, studying, creative process. Right option is D. Creative process. Children create their own forms of words according to their needs. These forms may be wrong. Chomsky opinions that language is not a set of habits, rather it is rule governed, thinking, clueless, None of these. Right option is A. Chomsky's opinion that language is not a set of habits, rather it is rule governed. Which human part is responsible for the perception and processing of a language? Eye, mind, tongue, both B and C. Right option is B. Mind is responsible for the perception and processing of a language. According to some linguists, mind is genetically equipped with a device, name it. Language perception device, language presentation device, language acquisition device, none of these. Right option is C. According to some linguists, mind is genetically equipped with a device known as language acquisition device. According to the critics, language acquisition device is an abstract concept and has its own vocabulary, lacks hierarchy, lacks scientific support, has sound footings. Right option is C. According to the critics, language acquisition device is an abstract concept and lacks scientific support. According to critics, which of the following is heavily based on learners' linguistic competence, which is an abstract idea? Direct method, grammar translation method, behavioristic theory, innate theory. Right option is D. According to critics, innate theory is heavily based on learners' linguistic competence. Language acquisition device consists of universal grammar and all the languages are basically formed with that universal ground, environmental ground, physical ground, psychological ground. Right option is A. Language acquisition device consists of universal grammar and all the languages are basically formed with that universal ground. Universal grammar provides a set of basic grammatical elements or fixed, common errors, abstract principles, both of these, none of these. Right option is B. Universal grammar provides a set of basic grammatical elements or fixed abstract principles. The abstract representation of grammatical rules are called language learning, language representation, language acquisition, language universals. Right option is D. The abstract representation of grammatical rules are called language universals by Chomsky. Chomsky categorized language universals into 2 types, 3 types, 4 types, 6 types. Right option is A. Chomsky categorized language universals into 2 types. The 2 types of language universals are substantive universal, formal universal. What do we call to the universals which describe the general principles that determine the form and the manner of operation of grammatical rules of particular language? Substantive universals, formal universals, applied universals, referential universals. Right option is B. The universals which describe the general principles that determine the form and the manner of operation of the grammatical rules of particular language is formal universals. Which of the following consist of fixed features of language? For example, phoneme and syntactic categories, formal universals, substantive universals, applied universals, none of these. Right option is B. Substantive universal consist of fixed features of language, for example, phonemes and syntactic categories. How is the peripheral grammar formed? By the rules that are not determined by universal grammar, by special linguists, by the society itself, by the individual speakers. Right option is A. The peripheral grammar formed by the rules that are not determined by the universal grammar. Who is of the view that the universal principles that children discover from their core grammar? Bloomfield, Sapir, Skinner, Chomsky. Right option is D. Chomsky is of the view that the universal principles that children discover from their core grammar. Which psychologist opinion that language acquisition support system is also necessary? Dennett, Skinner, Jerome Bruner, Chomsky. Right option is C. Jerome Brunner. So that is all about today's lecture. Thank you for watching.